Howdy, everyone, and welcome to the Headliner PodPod. We're a show about podcasts featuring podcasts by podcasters that's hosted by people who help podcasters with their podcasting. On each episode, a few of us folks over at Headliner sit down to play a game that centers around listening to randomly selected clips from over 500 show submissions we've gotten from podcasters. Why? In order to find what we call Pod Zero. Here are the rules. Each lucky contestant will hear a 60-second podcast clip. They'll then need to pick out the correct podcast title from a lineup of 3 choices before being shown the artwork for that show. Before we get the show on the road, though, let's say hi to each of our contestants for today. Starting with Max.
Hey, headliners.
He's back. He's ready to win. He's wearing fake 3D glasses over his real glasses.
I took a week off to train, met my sensei. He taught me in the ways of podcast title guessing, and I'm back and ready to win, stronger than ever.
He basically told you to pick the third one when you weren't sure, basically, right?
No, you don't know what he told me. Secret.
Okay. Oh, it's a black box secret. Okay, we're just going to power through then. Next up, we have Jesse.
Hello.
Followed by Kristy.
Let's go.
And Prateek.
Hey, everyone.
Great. And of course, we also have Elissa as our producer. Word on the street is you have a tiny little ad read for us.
Oh, I always do. So today we're talking about Podcast Promo. Podcast Promo finds new ears. Podcast Promo is an programmatic ad tool that leverages our publisher network. Headliner will find new ears and introduce them to your podcast for you based on targeting parameters and budget. Choose from over 5,000 different options with things like geo-targeting all the way down to the zip code level, demographic segmentation, device type, and interest-based targeting. Visit our website to learn more or to submit a campaign.
All right, cool. That's really neat that we could do like zip code level targeting. You know, just want to hit people up in the good old 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip code. Just the middle of Nowheresville, Kentucky. Defaultsville, Kentucky, if you will. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's just dive into things and get this party started with Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Why not, Jesse?
Let's get it.
But when we resist that, it's actually when we have a hard time indulging in the creative process.
Yes, or if we just try to power through and do the creativity thing, but without the business structure, what I think happens, and I'm kind of speaking for myself, is you end up kind of treading water. I've heard you talk, I've listened to some of your podcasts, and you have a lot of really, really wonderful resources on your website. So I think that's very generous. And I've heard a little bit about your background. I know that you grew up in the Midwest and then became a ballerina and then went into music therapy. And I want to talk to you all about that because I can tell how that informs the way you think about business. But going back to the very heart of the matter is, why do we have this cultural narrative, the starving artist narrative that sort of confounds creatives to the point that they can't even really see a future for themselves that is thriving?
Yeah, I don't know where the narrative comes from, and I think it's so sad.
I think it's really sad too, guys. Like, actually, I'm actually going to save this podcast and listen to it when we're done because this is something I was literally talking about the other day. Anyway, Jesse, let's fire off a couple of titles for you to pick from. Number 1, Clever. Number 2, Culture Cast. And number 3, Movers, Makers, and Shakers with Jordan Davis.
All right. So option 1 was it's just one word, clever, right?
Just one word, clever.
Clever. All right. So I'm seeing a pattern here. We got one word and then 2 words and then more than 2 words. So I'm going to go. I like the one word podcast title. I think clever is clever. Whether or not it's correct or not, I'm really liking clever for it. So let's go clever.
Okay. Option number 1, clever, is correct. And I did think it was clever, personally.
Yeah, that's a great title.
Yeah. And this was from episode 209, Holly Howard on business growth for creative entrepreneurs. Here's a little bit about this show. Clever is a window into the humanity behind the world around us. In each episode, designer Amy Devers has candid and revealing conversations with the visionaries, culture makers, and creative forces who shape our world and inform our society. Clever peels back the layers to unearth the gritty, authentic, and sometimes surprising details of their creative paths. So there you have it. Also, good artwork. I'm just like a fan of the choices made on that artwork. It's obviously a picture of the guest for the episode, but just the actual font choice for Clever and the way everything's squished together is, dare I say, a little clever. Just saying. But yeah, really cool stuff all around. Actually going to listen to this because this is a topic I was literally like borderline arguing with one of my friends about the other night. So go figure.
You were arguing?
Yeah, we were having an argument because he was spouting the tortured artist rhetoric stuff. And I was like, I think that's really shallow to think that you have to be a tortured artist to be successful. Like, we shouldn't romanticize the fact that Van Gogh chopped his ear off. We should probably get that guy like Vicodin because he chopped his ear off. You know what I mean?
Correlation does not equal causation.
Yeah, exactly.
Not chop your ear off if you want to be a good artist. That is not
his paintings weren't great because of the ear.
Yeah, exactly.
But
contrary to popular belief, chopping your ear off doesn't make you better at painting.
Like, everybody's just discounting his work. They're like, Starry Night's great, but
I will say though, of all the artists I know that have cut their ears off, they've all been pretty good.
That's true. But also, how long is that list?
It's one.
Okay. Just making sure.
Can't argue with the facts. So
yeah. So on that note, let's dive on forward. It sounds like we're all in agreement that you don't need to be a tortured artist, which is good to know. Let's go over to our next contestant and picking one out of the hat again. Let's go with Prateek. All right. Eyes are covered. Yeah, he is.
It's also his birthday today.
It is. Happy birthday, Prateek.
There's something right in what you said, and Martin van Creveld, he discovered it already in his book that, you know, the way medals are awarded in the Second World War for the US Army was totally different than for the German Army. In the German Army, a lot of these high awards, they go to officers who are leading the charge. So, and not to officers who are sitting somewhere in the back. You're not getting anything for that. So this is the Legion of Merit or something. I don't even know that this exists in the Wehrmacht. So that you're just doing paper pushing and you did it in an excellent way. So that's not even existing. So you have at that time generals who have tank killer badges on their sleeve. So there was generals who were, you know, they're going forward and, you know, showing the guys how it is done. They cannot imagine what that means if you have like a Russian superiority at that time, like in some battles, 80-1 or 10-1. And then suddenly the general shows up and he kills a T-34.
Okay. There is your clip, and here are your options. Number 1, black market leadership. Number 2, black to back. And number 3, leader sheep podcast. I like the pun in the last one.
Let's go with the first one.
Black market leadership. Okay, locking it in, and you're correct, sir.
Nice.
It was indeed that
Total
one.
guess.
Total guess, just shot in the dark?
Yep.
Your brain wasn't tickled by leader sheep?
I feel like the people that were the clip that I heard of would not have come up with that. But
okay, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like serious talk, but
yeah,
complete guess.
Well, kudos to Elissa for that one because the oxymoron in that is delightful. And yeah, this was from episode 75, Command Culture with Jorg Muth, part 1 and 2. So here's our show description. Modern leadership development is undeserving you. If you want to accelerate your growth and quickly raise your value as a leader, then you have to look beyond tradition and convention. Black market leadership is made for you, the high achiever and disruptor, to give you a competitive edge no matter your title or position. Hosted by Forbes coach and leadership expert Kevin Black, learn the art and science of leadership the way military leadership and elite Fortune 500 leaders do. So there you go. And just a nice, clean piece of artwork for the show. You know? It's an old standby. What's up?
When I got the podcast, I like totally misinterpreted the name. And I was like, black market leadership, like as in the black market. And I was like,
oh,
is this okay? And then I listened and I was like, oh no, of course, this is fine. It's the host's last name. I just wanted to
that
share
would be really strange if a USA Today Forbes podcast, which I'm assuming it's affiliated because the logos are right there, it was about the black market.
Yeah, I was just confused for many reasons initially.
The episode sounded like he was talking about a black market.
He was talking about the military.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was using military leadership hierarchy to talk about how to lead a company. So, interesting stuff. Now I will only think about the black market when I hear this title. So thank you for that. I'm just going to imagine like an hour-long podcast about, so you want to sell organs on the black market. Here's
That's
how you
what
do
I
it.
thought when I saw the name. I was like, I'm intrigued, and then I clicked.
Kidneys are hot this week.
They've always been hot.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, moving on.
Keep going.
Before I just launch into 20 minutes of vamping. Our next contestant, let's go with Kristy.
I can't see you. Where you're okay.
Yeah, he's covering his face.
I see a book now. Okay.
Let's do this.
Nuestros propios ojos nos darán la respuesta. Será algo que tu pediatra revise desde la primera vez que acudas a la consulta con tu recién nacido, puesto que a veces estos bebés pueden nacer con deformidades craneales si han estado, por ejemplo, muy comprimidos o en una determinada posición durante el embarazo, dentro de la barriga de su madre. Pero tú también en casa puedes observarlo y vigilarlo. Lo mejor es mirar la cabecita desde atrás o desde arriba. Si el bebé tiene plagiocefalia, verás una zona de la cabeza más plana y la del lado contrario más abombada, como con un bulto. Si el moldeamiento es importante, a veces incluso vemos como una oreja está algo más adelantada que la otra, al igual que una parte de la carita si miramos al niño de frente. En algunos bebés el aplanamiento puede ocurrir en los dos lados y dar la sensación de que su cabeza...
Okay. Hope you're listening closely.
Yes.
And here we go. Here are your three options translated from Spanish into English because we wanted to go easy on you this week. So,
Okay.
Number one is The Bittersweet Joys of Pediatric Medicine. Number two, Honey and Lemon, Pediatricians at the Microphone. And number three, Podiatry over Urology.
I'm gonna go number two. This is gonna be shot in the dark. There's I know very little Spanish. They were talking about like being in a house, and I caught very little. So we're just gonna shot in the dark. I'm comfortable where this ends up.
Y'all are on fire this week, though.
Three for three.
Yeah, you're 3 for 3 right now.
Oh, the power is going to our heads.
No pressure on Max, but if he gets his right, I want him to scream buckets as soon as he does.
Nice.
Just buckets, Okay, so this was from the episode Honey and Lemon Pills. And I can't say this word, so pardon me because I am not a doctor. Plagiocephaly. I think I might have actually said it right, but we'll just pretend I did and give me
Say it with
kudos.
conviction and go.
Yes, exactly. Plagiocephaly. So there we go. I know, I killed it, guys. And here's our show description. Parenting and pediatrics share a sweet background with acidic notes. We welcome you to this independent sound space. We are Soledad Montero and Rosa Pavo, two primary care pediatricians from the public health system who want to expand the walls of our consultations. And what better way than through a podcast? We want to share interesting information about the health of children and adolescents. Try to answer the most frequently asked questions that you ask us at the health center. We will enjoy chatting because we love new challenges and dissemination. We will accompany you whenever you feel like it, while you're out running, breastfeeding, or bottle feeding, ironing, or on the way to work. And there you have it. Honey and Lemon. And their latest episode was seemingly about honey and lemon pills, which is cool. Cool stuff. I also really like the artwork. I think that's really neat. And I think that lemon capsule on the left that they have is intense. Maybe a juicer. I don't know what it is. Looks like a pill to me. But
I think it's
it's
like
a microphone.
the honey thing where you like you dip it. It's what that little bee that has on the Cheerio box, his little wand. It's a honey
Maybe.
wand.
I think it's
I
just
think
a
it's a
microphone.
combo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of like,
Yeah.
that made into a mic. Very
Yeah,
clever.
exactly. Like the bottom capsule of the microphone is just a lemon.
It's definitely clever.
Yes, but not the podcast clever. Not to be mistaken. So now, no pressure, Max, but everyone has gotten theirs right so far.
Oh yeah,
If you will,
pressure's on.
please.
I'm just gonna yell buckets now. Buckets.
Yeah, buckets.
You gotta ask for forgiveness instead of permission. So
that's the spirit. Did you get that from Black Market Leadership?
yeah, but the other one. No, actually, I got it from what was it? Leadership.
Leadership. Right.
Leader.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. If you'll cover your eyes, sir, so that we know you're actually, yeah.
Otherwise, if you get this right, you'll be accused.
Top so that the bottom of the soccer ball is making contact with the trackball and inverted it. Yes. Okay. So he has a little arcade setup and he has the big ball and like it's not going to be perfect, but that's a really cool idea. Yeah. It's a really cool idea. But you can watch his video and it's not very long. But it kind of shows you how he's gone in and kind of created this way to like somewhat play the game properly at home. And again, we'll throw the link in there in the Discord there. But some of the other games on the hardware, Air Combat 22, Alpine Racer. I've heard of Alpine Racer, Aquajet, Cybercycles, Dirt Dash, Prop Cycle. But the big one is obviously Time Crisis and Tokyo War. So again, this is a really weird one. I'd love to try to find an actual board of this. Now that I'm going to have like a trackball thing, I'm not going to say that I'm going to put deodorant sticks on my arcade cabinet at home, but I do think that's actually a really brilliant way to come up with something to like play. Fiction, to play one of these like, weird games. Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. Here are your three options for today, Max. Number 1, Podkey Kong. Number 2, the Arcade 1-Up Podcast. And number 3, Hadouken.
Wow. Hard.
Yeah.
Hard choices. I am going to throw the dice on the second one, even though I realize I could see. Wait, I was getting a little signal from Jesse.
Oh, no, I was doing like a drum roll. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You want to try to give me a hint, like a card counting type of. No. Blink twice if you agree with my.
No, you guys can talk it out. I will allow it.
I can get lifelines in here?
You get one lifeline this week. It looks like Elissa doesn't agree, but overruled.
No, just for the reason that everybody else has gotten it right.
Okay.
You need to do this on your own.
Oh, fair enough.
I need your help, guys. I need your help.
Sorry.
Can my lifeline be to Google?
No.
Google.
No, certainly cannot.
What would you Google?
I would Google all
Just
3
curious.
podcast names.
No, absolutely not.
I will say that multiple of those names are legitimate podcast names. I will say that much.
What was the first one? Podkey Kong?
Yeah, Podkey Kong.
I mean, I'm going to be surprised if that's a podcast name, but Jesse, blink twice if you agree.
Obviously not a Donkey Kong fan.
Eyebrows that do it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, lifeline is, can somebody explain the last one to me? The last
I can explain what that is.
I've heard it.
A reference to.
Yeah.
It's a reference to the side diagonal down attack in Street Fighter, the Hadouken.
Yeah. Okay. That one seems plausible.
Sorry, it's the down diagonal side, not the other one. That's the kick one.
Or is this really going to change my decision? I need to know the right key combination.
Yes.
Yes, you've got this.
Because if you get it right, you're going to be expected to do a Hadouken.
On PlayStation, you had to like rapid spin the whole toggle and spam it.
Well, I'm still leaning towards the second one. Kristy, blink twice if you disagree.
I can't do this. You've got this.
I'm
This
gonna go with
is
the
for an
second one.
honest win.
Okay. You're going to go with the second one, which was the Arcade 1-Up podcast.
Suspense.
I'm sorry, you are incorrect. Although that might be a podcast.
Wait, it was Hadouken. That changes
Yeah.
everything. I thought it was just Hadouken.
No, it was Hadouken.
I feel like that is a bit of moderator.
I don't know. I think everyone else got it.
I actually had no idea you said Hadouken. I thought it was just the word Hadouken or whatever.
Oh, you thought it was literally saying Hadouken. I don't know, man.
It's a great title. But all right, I will accept the defeat with the caveat that I think the whole game was rigged and
such a humble loser. Such like a sore, you know what I mean? Just such a great loser about it. Like, I'll accept that I lost, but
humble winner, even better loser.
I will fight this hand over foot, tooth over nail, third thing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'll accept it, and you'll have to live with it. So there we go.
Okay.
Live with the knowledge of what happened here today.
Well, to make things worse, I did actually change the second option while it was playing. I was originally PodPod, so I changed it to make it a little harder.
That's also a good one.
Yeah.
That would have been
a good one.
I legitimately did not know it was Hadouken, so
okay,
maybe
fair enough.
We want to implement some visuals of the titles in the future.
I believe he said something to the effect of like, it's like Hadouken.
Yes, I did at one point. I was like, it's Hadouken from Street Fighter.
Salt in the wind.
At any rate, the idea of a visual does sound fun.
You guys all have to live with this, though. You know what happened. Let this day live on in headline history.
This is an honest moment. We did it. We did the best we could.
You all did not blink, so that is fair. I was actually.
I love the longer we dwell on it, the more Max directs his ire at his teammates.
They actually were helping me. I thought, like, oh, they're just not engaging, but they weren't blinking twice, so they were.
I would have gotten the slam dunk if my team understood that when I put my hands up and said uppies, I needed help reaching the hoop.
This is
anyway.
Just to get that out.
No, I'm kidding. I get it, man. We all need a help for the slam dunk. We all need the old baseball rules of it's still a home run if the ball bounces and then goes over the fence, which was actually the rules in baseball until the 1930s.
I agree. And in the future, we're gonna when one of us says uppies, we're gonna put the team on our back, lift them up.
Yep. Exactly. And I'm really hoping our AI just calls this episode Uppies now. Yes. So here's a little bit about Hadouken. It's from the episode Arcade Obscura, parentheses, Beast Mode, episode 115. And our show description is a podcast for arcade lovers. From the owners of 100+ arcade and pinball cabinets and the proprietors of a real-life arcade comes Hadouken, a brand new podcast that takes a deep dive into the world of video game arcades and explores the history, story, strategy, art, music, restoration, preservation, and fun of arcade games. If ever there was a podcast that sounds like it was something I would get into, it's probably this, because I love me some old arcade games, and yeah, I love all that stuff. So, very cool, all around, neat artwork, you know. It looks like it is a actual Hadouken just turned vertically, with the word Hadouken there in the Street Fighter font, I think. So that's neat. With that out of the way, I think we have time for one final round. If everyone would like to band together and use all the lifelines they want, they can still have some semblance of a win if you guys do that. So let's do it. Let's just cover our eyes and roll with it.
And I wanted to ask if you can maybe give us some examples of like how you guys have done that, because I think in your case, it's not such a Web3 native project. I know it's a protocol, but at the same time, I think it works a bit differently and it's a bit more, it's appealing to like different types of audiences, let's say, compared to like something that's very, very Web3 native. So I think when it comes to like community building and marketing efforts, that this is one of the questions that I have for you.
Yeah, sure. So from a partnerships perspective, we've done around 100 key integrations so far. And all of these integrations is trying to expand the use of the product, of course. So that comes from like the creation of PoApp through to the distribution and the discovery of the PoApp. So a few examples of these, I've got 3 to kind of mention.
Okay. There was our clip. And here are your titles, everybody. Number 1, OOO, a Web3 marketing podcast. And to be specific, so we don't have another Padukin on our hands, that is the letter O 3 times. Ooh, if you will. Yes, not 0. O. It looks like the Karen O song that opened her 2014 album Crush Songs.
Could it be
Number
a circle?
2.
Is it maybe not a letter or a number at all? Is it just a circle?
It could be, but it's the letter O as it's written.
Uppercase or lowercase?
Uppercase.
Okay.
And your second choice, 4 P's podcast. And that's not the letter P 4 times, Max. It is the number 4 followed by P''S podcast. And number 3, SWOTcast. SWOT, all caps, space, cast.
What was the second one again?
4 P's podcast.
Is it the number 4 or is it spelled
Yes.
out?
4.
Number 4.
Number 4 P's podcast.
Okay.
Is there anything standing out to anybody? I think the first one is a little bit the most like complicated and weird.
Yeah.
I usually kind of go for that.
Yeah, she's talking about Web 3.0, and
Yeah.
I guess that there's 3 O's in there, so maybe that's what it's about, but I don't know. I could just be Elissa trying to mess with us. I don't know.
Jesse's got the
Yes.
pencil out, so
This is nothing more than an emotional support instrument at this point. I have no clue. I have no clue.
Just opened up my marketing introduction 101 textbook and went to glossary and just was like,
Okay, all right.
I'm
okay.
understanding SWAT now.
mhm.
Okay, all right.
Oh, but that's such a good title now. Number 3, I get it.
What's SWOT?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay, is that something
Okay.
to do with Web 3?
I don't think so, but
Just
I
the
don't know.
business. It's like just a general business management technique.
Yeah.
I'm getting
Okay,
the sense
cool.
that the Web 3 part is specific to this episode.
right?
Or
And
entrepreneurship.
exactly.
Yeah,
They were also talking about like integrations, distribution, and other things like that. So I mean, it could just be like a general thing like that, and they're just diving into Web3 on this one.
Right.
What's the second one called? What was the second one again?
4 P's or something?
podcast.
I think that's also another marketing thing. I
Mhm.
mean, business
Yeah, it's like
thing.
profit something probably, right?
No.
Oh, so
That's
like
the most clever. So it's like it's like PS, not PEAS. So like it's P-pod. Pod.
The 3 P's with the 4th one being the podcast.
Yes.
But what's the first one? 3 O's out of office? I'm
Maybe.
serious.
Is it the Out of Office podcast? Is that 3 O's?
What-
What's
They're all
the title?
capital. They're all capital. So I mean,
I don't know any other acronyms with 3
Yeah.
O's in business jargon.
oceans, man.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. There's that one too.
They had a lot of headliners.
What's the full title? Of
You
number
could
one
make that a
again?
business term, by the way. You could be talking about blue ocean strategy. So
And 3 of
just
them.
saying.
Anything can be a business term if you
It's
try
true.
hard enough.
Yes.
thanks for
Um,
that support.
All right. What's everyone feeling? Like gut reaction. What's everyone's numbers? 3.
I like 3. It's catchy.
Go 3.
Okay.
Do
I
it.
like 3
Okay.
too.
So sorry, everybody. SWATcast is not
Ah.
the answer. The correct answer was
Oh, it was.
Oceans,
Ordinary.
a Web3 marketing
Out
podcast.
of ordinary.
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
was a whole Web3 podcast.
It was actually OOO.
We talked ourselves out of it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Good job,
Played
guys.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We're our own greatest enemy.
Yes.
There you go. And the episode we just heard a clip from was episode 50, POAP just reached 7 million minted POAPs. How they got there, the case studies, and BAST practices with Jai Stadiford. I don't know if that's supposed to be best. It's written as BAST. I'm sticking to it.
I know POAP.
There you go. I think they talked about it in the episode. They mentioned that a few times.
I have a few POAPs from attending some Web3 events.
What is a POAP?
Proof
know
of
what it stands for?
Attendance Protocol.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a check-in, I guess. It's like an NFT check-in.
It's like an NFT version of those like bracelets you get when you go to the Bowery Ballroom.
Yes. And it's
neat.
Instead of it on your wrist, it's on the blockchain.
Okay.
What's the treatment for a POAP?
What?
Said, what's the treatment for a POAP?
I don't know what you're asking me.
It sounds like a medical condition.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you have to attend an event.
Caffeine.
All right. So here is our show description. OOO, Out of Ordinary, is a Web3 marketing podcast in which we bring forward the marketing people in Web3 that are building amazing communities, brands, and products. Whether you are a marketer looking to transition into Web3 or just want to test the waters and see what's out there, you are already working for a Web3 company, or you are a startup founder, this podcast is for you. Our main goal is to bring forward case studies from which you learn how they done it, get best practices, and implement that at your company. So, neat stuff. I do like the artwork for this show. I think it's really cool how it's like a podcast artwork within a podcast artwork, kind of. You guys know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's neat. Any rate, interesting stuff. So, with that out of the way.
Just a little side note here. I did Google, since we were finished that up. There is a SWAT cast, and it looks pretty cool too. So I'm gonna look that one up too.
There you go. Even when we're making up podcast names, we're finding interesting podcasts.
Who says I make them up?
Oh, fair enough. But you did say you opened your business textbook at one point, your marketing textbook, and hit the glossary. So I figured that was the one. Nope. Okay.
Nicholas, that. Clip that out.
Yeah, cut it. At any rate,
chaos.
I'm just going to sample audio of Elissa from a different episode saying the words "you're right," and I'm just going to put it there. It's not even going to be a clean cut. It's going to be the beginning of another word, right.
Multiple different episodes.
It's per syllable, even.
I don't know that I've said "you're right" ever on this podcast.
You just did.
Or just now.
40 chess. Okay. Oh. On that enchanting note, thanks for playing, everybody. You got so close to a perfect game, but then again, you didn't. So let's see if next week will change that. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening to everybody listening. So yeah, bye.